Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're testing one of the most popular series in the gaming world, Modern Warfare 3, but with a twist. I'm running this on my low-end, no graphics card i3 laptop. Yes, you heard that right. I put my humble machine on the front lines of AAA warfare, and honestly, I thought my laptop would just wave the white flag and call it quits. So, can Modern Warfare 3 actually run on an i3 with integrated graphics? Let's find out. Spoiler alert. I didn't have to call the fire department, yet. Finally, after years of wishing, waiting, and mostly just fearing for my laptop's life, I decided to risk it all and download Modern Warfare 3. Now, this wasn't just some casual decision. No. I've known for a while that this game might just be the final boss that my laptop couldn't handle, but I took a deep breath, crossed my fingers, and hit that download button anyway. And you know what? To my total surprise, the game didn't immediately fry my laptop like I expected. It actually launched, and even crazier, it ran. I mean, I'm not about to say it was smooth by any stretch, but for my low-spec setup, it was a small miracle. Of course, we're not talking anywhere near 4K Ultra settings here. No way. For this campaign to be playable at all, I had to take things down several notches. We're talking 720p resolution, every setting dialed down to 0, and anything even remotely fancy completely turned off. The funny thing is, Modern Warfare 3 technically supports lower resolutions, but here's where things took a strange turn. The minute I tried dropping below the 1280 by 720 resolution, the game just flat out refused to play along. It crashed right at launch every single time, as if the game itself was telling me, "Nice try, buddy, but that's not happening." So, 720p it was. Then came the FSR settings, which I knew could be my last resort for any extra FPS. I first tried FSR 1, Fidelity FX Super Resolution, and honestly, it saved me. It kept things pretty smooth, or at least, smooth enough for what I'm used to on this laptop. But I wanted more, don't we all? So I pushed my luck with FSR 2, hoping for that sweet FPS boost. Sure, I got a few extra frames, but along with them came a stuttering experience that made the game feel like a scratched-up DVD on repeat. Every step my character took would freeze for a split second, and honestly, I half expected the game to start skipping scenes. It was a flashback to those glitchy DVD days, and trust me, it wasn't worth it. So back to FSR 1 we went, and from there, things were surprisingly solid. The FPS I managed on this little i3 laptop wasn't buttery smooth, but for this hardware, it was almost unbelievable. Who knew that my laptop, the same one that sometimes struggles to play YouTube videos, could handle a full-on Call of Duty campaign? It wasn't perfect, but it was playable, and that's more than I could have hoped for. Modern Warfare 3 running on this setup? I'd say that's an unexpected win for all of us low-spec warriors out there. Now, let's talk about the gameplay itself because, honestly, a game can run all it wants. But if it's no fun to play, what's the point, right? To get there, though, I first had to navigate the notorious Call of Duty installation process, and let me tell you, it's not for the faint-hearted. Despite only wanting to play the campaign, I was still required to download the massive multiplayer and Warzone updates. For a low-end PC user just trying to experience a straightforward campaign, this felt a bit like being forced into a marathon when I'd only signed up for a quick jog. Who knew that patience was now a Call of Duty requirement? By the time I finally loaded into the game, I was already emotionally drained, but ready for the action. Once I got in, the game did manage to run pretty smoothly on my settings, though I noticed some minor choppiness during transitions. It wasn't anything game-breaking, just a slight hiccup here and there, like the game was catching its breath. Still, for a campaign experience, I expected a little more, especially given the hype surrounding the series. And as I got into the story, the initial excitement started to wear off because the game felt, well, a little flat. The campaign felt like a Modern Warfare Greatest Hits album, which was great at first. Familiar faces, nostalgic vibes, some high-octane moments. But then the reality set in. While these familiar elements might appeal to longtime fans, they didn't really add up to anything new. For newcomers, the story might feel more confusing than engaging, with plot threads that rely on a good bit of series knowledge. And even if you're a veteran of the series, it's hard to shake the feeling that this campaign is just a bit recycled. You know that feeling when you watch a sequel and realize it's a lot like the original, just without the same magic? That's the best way I can describe this campaign. After waiting for so long to try Modern Warfare 3, I had hoped for a bit more depth in the storyline and a few twists in the gameplay. Instead, it felt like a few hours of familiar moments that were over almost as quickly as they began. Given the price of the game, especially if you're just in it for the campaign, it's a bit hard to justify. And then there's the gameplay itself. Sure, the action is there. It's a Call of Duty game after all. But there's something a bit off about shooting your way through predictable sequences without the same level of intensity or narrative grip that previous entries managed. I kept thinking, is that it? After each mission, and for a game that's built on immersing players in an action-packed storyline, that's a bit of a letdown. It feels like they spent so much time focusing on fan service and big moments that the heart of the game got lost in the mix. Don't get me wrong, there's something thrilling about finally getting to play a COD campaign on a low-end setup. But, in all honesty, I'm left feeling like it's a slightly overpriced okay experience instead of the epic Modern Warfare moment I was hoping for. The few hours of gameplay offered here just don't feel like they fully justify the commitment, let alone the file size. So, if you're thinking about getting it just for the campaign, maybe wait for a sale. So, can you actually play Modern Warfare 3 on a low-end i3 PC with integrated graphics? The answer is yes, technically, but let's keep our expectations realistic. Think of it as a small miracle rather than a full-scale victory. It's playable, which on this setup is an impressive feat on its own, but don't expect to be blown away by the visuals or the performance. You'll get that nostalgic Modern Warfare feel, which is great if you're just looking for a taste of the franchise on a budget, but the experience might leave a little to be desired. The campaign itself is short and, unfortunately, feels repetitive. This lack of variety, combined with the high price tag, makes it hard to justify unless you're planning to dive into the multiplayer or Warzone modes, which come with their own set of hardware demands. With a story that doesn't break much new ground and some gameplay elements that feel recycled, it's easy to feel like this is less of a fresh experience and more of a remix of familiar moments from past games. Now, if you're rocking an older laptop and just itching for a slice of COD action, this will get you that fix. The gunfights, the iconic characters, and the immersive environments are there, but don't expect the visual polish or seamless transitions you get on a higher-end machine. In the end, this setup provides a functional, scaled-back experience, a decent option if you're craving the Modern Warfare vibe on a tight budget. Just keep in mind that for all the intensity of COD, this might not be the blockbuster experience that Modern Warfare 3 promises on more powerful machines. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review or just want more low-spec gaming tips, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. I'm always testing new games on old hardware to see just how far we can push these budget machines. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any other AAA games on a low-end PC, or if you have any recommendations for what I should test next. Until then, happy gaming, everyone. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.